All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sportsmen. That is Joey D, top left. That is Mikey V, down. What's going on here?
Is that couch behind you? Is that a sideways couch?
That's a bed I'm trying to sell, Mikey, if you must know.
Well, because I saw the legs, so it was that threw me for a quick loop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a bed. It's a
All
bed.
right.
All right, folks, we missed a couple of weeks. We're sorry about that. We've all been busy. We're at the Breezy. We're doing a bunch of things, but we are trying our best. I promise you that. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, both to the YouTube and the Instagram. Fire questions to the Instagram. Mr. Anderson will take care of those, and we will get to those at the end of each episode. Gentlemen, let's just dive right into football. I mean, we could talk Ryder Cup, we could talk college, but I think we just get right into week 3, recap that, and start talking week 4. Any issues?
No, none. We should. We're not going to talk any college football. That's upsetting.
No, we can. I mean, let's go with college. Let's talk about the team that's, you know what? Actually, I want to start with one of the very worst beats I've ever had. I agree. If anyone listened to Jersey Jerry's rant the other day, that Notre Dame beat was one of the very, very worst. Mikey V, I know you had issues with that game. You came out on top, but how do you look at that game? How'd that go down, and how'd you guys end up winning that game?
Well, I said for a long, long time that Notre Dame team is legit. I said Notre Dame was one of my playoff team picks. I said this Notre Dame team is not like Notre Dame teams you've seen in the past. I said that they're built traditionally like Notre Dame's always built, strong up front, both sides of the ball, good defense, really good running game. But the difference is Sam Hartman, and they have a real quarterback, and they're a very good team, and they're not like the previous. And they're not. And they had Ohio State on the ropes in the fourth quarter. Ohio State came out. Ohio State played extremely well. The game was a classic. I thought it was a classic football game. It was a throwback classic game. There were no sloppy turnovers. There was no ugliness to the game. I thought it was just a throwback instant classic between two Titan programs. I'm surprised Ohio State came away with a win. As most people know, I was picking Notre Dame to win that game. I had said that for weeks leading up. I said Ohio State was going to have trouble. I was going to be surprised if they came out of there with a win. It took every second on the clock for them to win that football game. But I got to tip my cap. I got to tip my cap when the cap needs to be tipped. Ryan Day oft-questioned. This team oft-questioned on their toughness, their grit. Kyle McCord, unknown guy, never made a start like this in his entire career, goes into that environment and beats that team. And Ohio State's defense, impressive so far this year. To only give up 2 touchdowns to that offense who had been humming the whole season. I'm very, very proud of what they did last Saturday. I was extremely impressed. But Kyle McCord on that last drive with a minute left in the game, minute and 30 seconds left in the game, to go the length of the field and to deliver on 4th and 7, and then again on 3rd and 19. Incredible football game. Obviously, the 10 men on the field left off for the last play. Huh?
He got left off the hook, man.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't get let off the hook.
Yeah,
no, he didn't.
A terrible pass.
No, he fucking didn't get let off the hook.
Should have been intercepted by any guy who could have caught a ball as a DB or as a safety.
There's plays like that in every game where it should have been an interception. That happens in every football game. You could say a quarterback got let off the hook in every single fucking game.
That game was over.
That in every game. Yeah, the game was over, but the kid converted on 4th and 7. The kid converted on a 3rd and 19. A 3rd and 19 he converted.
Well, but they're going to go for it on 4th down anyways. They needed to get 20 yards in 2 plays.
Yeah, but they didn't. They got it all in 1 play, though.
Listen, I understand that.
Listen, here's the thing that aggravates me, and this is why I'm getting a little upset. Nobody was more critical of Kyle McCord, Ryan Day, and this team leading up to this game than I was. Nobody. But what they did Saturday night was show me something. They showed me mental toughness. They showed me physical toughness. They showed me resiliency. And Kyle McCord showed me the most important unsung statistic that a quarterback in college could show you. And it's not quantifiable. It's not. It's just that it factor where when the game is on the line and the game is in the balance and everything matters, are you going to get it done or aren't you? And the kid went out in the most hostile of environments. That place was fucking rocking at night and got it done. Hats off to Kyle McCord. Hats off to the Buckeyes. Extremely impressed. And I got to call a spade a spade. In the last 2 games that have been the biggest stage where a lot of people didn't think they'd get it done against Georgia, went down to the last play, they lost. This game comes down to the last play, they won. I got to tip my cap. And give credit where credit's due, because nobody's a harsher critic on them than me. So I got to tip my cap. I have to.
Joseph?
I mean, I told you what I listen. I would agree with 85% of what Mikey says. I would. And I'm not taking away from anything. You know, he had a game-winning drive at the end. But when you throw a ball, that clearly obvious was he did not see that guy. He swooped down. He was right there. It was such an easy ball to intercept, and that guy dropped it and lost them the game. When that happens, it's just like giving fresh life to a team. And then don't even get me going like on the fact that Vegas called to put to put an extra second on the clock.
That was horse shit. Which is the
biggest bullshit I have ever seen in my life. The game was at 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, that has nothing to do with how good the game
I'm not saying, of course, but I'm saying
separate issue.
Total, absolute bang job. Really so, like, everybody who had it at 3 would have gone home a winner, instead pushed. And I mean, what a terrible way to do it. Vegas made all the money. That being said, that aside, Ohio State's a good team, man. There's no question about it. But I almost feel like Notre Dame had that game when they stopped.
They did.
When they stopped them on 4th and short, they just had to keep the pressure going on offense, and they didn't. They let up. They got, they went into like, run the ball mode, kill the clock. And you know what? Props to Ohio State. But I feel like, man, that was a good game. And I don't know, man. I think that Ohio State, if they're going to want to beat a team like Georgia, they're going to have to step it up a little bit.
Notre Dame's a playoff team. I still think Notre Dame's a playoff team. I've been saying that all year. That's why I'm so impressed with this win, because I truly still believe that Notre Dame is a playoff caliber team. I really do. And Ohio State's still got to go on the road to Michigan. They still got to play Penn State. They still got to play Maryland. They still got to go on the road at Wisconsin. Their schedule is still brutal. They still have brutal games ahead. So it's still going to be a long, long ways away for them to get where they got to go. But Notre Dame, too, they got to play Clemson. They got to play USC. Those are going to be tough games for them. But I do believe that Notre Dame is a playoff team, and I believe they're one of the best teams in the country. And anytime you could go in, college is the home field advantage in college is just so much different because of how raucous those stadiums get at night, especially on the road, that when you could take a win like that, you take it any which way you could get it. I don't care how it happens. I don't care what you do. If you could get out of an environment like that, you escape that environment, you're a winner. So that's a signature win for Ryan Day.
Joseph?
I know we're going to jump into football, but we have to talk. I mean, the fact that we actually delayed this a day actually played into our hands, because potentially the biggest trade of the NBA went down today. I don't know if you've seen a ticket, but Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. And that is, I think we would be remiss to at least go a little bit on it and talk about it and what it means, A, for the Eastern Conference, B, what it means for the Phoenix Suns. And then the Blazers lose their star player for years. What do you think, Tick? I'm interested to know what your thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, the Blazers are fucked. That's for sure. I mean, no one wants to play there.
So?
No one wants to play there. They got lucky with a once in a lifetime guy who was that good, who was also that loyal to stay. He could have left years ago, and they had him. He was like, I'm bought in here. I'm ready to win. I would surround me with some talent, and I'm ready to go. And they couldn't figure it out. So Portland's fucked, and I feel bad for everyone there.
Well, they got some good players going in there. Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, they ain't winning shit with that. They just aren't. They just aren't. I mean, best they can do is get to the second round. That's the best they're ever going to do, unless they get a great draft or they're fucked. But Milwaukee on the other side, Celtics are fucked. Sixers are fucked. Heat are fucked. I mean, that Milwaukee team,
Middleton,
who
Giannis,
is going to
and
stop?
Damian Lillard.
I mean, now that young man's got a lot of pressure on him now. He's on a big time team with arguably the best player in the entire league, Giannis. And man, it'll be fun to watch
How about
watch
your
them.
Sixers now are in trouble?
Yeah, we're
too.
fucked. We already were fucked. Now we're triply fucked. I mean, that's all I have to say about that. I'm already falling out of basketball anyway, but that's a team to watch now. That's going to be a lot of fun to see Damian Lillard work in an offense that actually has a chance to win something.
If you think there's anybody in the Eastern Conference who can potentially take them out, who do you see as the team that could potentially beat them out in the East?
If Jaylen Brown can stop turning the ball over, I think the Celtics are still the best overall team when it comes to coaching, when it comes to their bench, when it comes to everything that they can do. They really work together well. Turnovers fucking kill them, namely from Jaylen Brown. So if they can tighten that up, I think they have the best chance to beat the Bucks, but I don't think they will.
Mikey, anything you want to add? I know you're not a huge NBA guy, but it's a pretty big blockbuster trade.
No. Nope.
There you go.
It's such a blockbuster. I didn't even hear about it.
What?
It only happened like 2 or 3 hours ago.
It just happened today.
Yeah. So
it's a big deal, Mike.
I guess to like 15 people, it might be a big deal. College football, by the way, has like overtaken the ratings for NBA finals. That Notre Dame Ohio State game drew more ratings than the NBA finals did.
Yeah, well, that's up. America loves its football, man. And I quickly want to say on that game too, as good as Mikey's been saying this Hartman guy is, and I've seen him, that I don't know, credit the Ohio State defense,
their defense
or Hartman wasn't that great.
The
running game of Esme and that other guy, but mainly Esme, is that running back's name? Estime?
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. He was the heartbeat of that Notre Dame offense that day.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I think they kind of did themselves a disservice. I think they should have let Hartman have the ball a little bit more, to be honest. Because I do think he's a threat. He's a legit threat. And I think, I really think Notre Dame is going to go on a run here now. I do. I think they're very good. I really do. So we'll see. I think it's going to be awesome. College football, it's just going to be great. Or there's the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is going to make things so interesting this year for the playoff, because USC, Washington, and Oregon, and even Utah, until they get, they may have trouble this week with Oregon State. But those 4 teams, Oregon, Utah, USC, oh my God, Washington, those are 4 legitimate teams with
Michael Penix is a problem.
Superstar college quarterbacks. Penix, Caleb Williams. If Cam Rising comes back for Utah and Bo Nix for Oregon, those guys, it's just going to be incredible to watch how the Pac-12 plays out, because I can't ever remember the Pac-12 being this loaded. Like, and it's real. It's not like, I don't think it's like just like a facade and they're just like these soft teams that just score a bunch of points. I think they're actually really good football teams for the most part. So I'm very curious to see how it plays out, because the SEC is down. I think this year the SEC is down. Florida State, Clemson, with the Clemson game, they struggled. Clemson is done. It's just interesting. The Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, all steamrolling so far. It's just going to be very, very fascinating to see.
Penn State's emerging as a real problem.
I told you that Drew Aller kid. Wow. What did I tell you about
emerging
that Drew
as
Aller
a real
kid, man?
problem, dude.
He's a problem.
And beyond that defense looks brutal.
Yeah,
they look tough.
I'm very glad Ohio State has them at home. If they were on the road for that game and it was a whiteout game, man, that would be tough. That would be.
You guys have a tough schedule, man.
Not like that cupcake schedule that Michigan plays. They don't play anybody until the last 3 weeks of the year.
Michigan really don't. Good, though. Michigan looks really good.
They had a tough first half against Rutgers. They should have gotten going earlier.
Much
on
improved
that.
this year, but Penn State's tough. Penn State is definitely tough, and then Texas.
Maryland's no pushover either.
Texas is undefeated, huh?
Yeah.
Maryland, no, to his brother's the real deal. Again, in college, it's just so much different. If you have a guy who's really, really good at quarterback, it just makes a world of difference in college. You'll always hang around in games if you have a guy like that. That's why if Utah could ever get Cam Rising back, but I'm getting extremely concerned about that, because I don't even think he's going to play this week again. against
What is
Oregon
wrong
State.
with him?
He tore his ACL very late in the year last year. So, he's.
And I tell you what, that UCLA crew, that's a bunch of frauds. The fact that they only won by one touchdown against UCLA, that's a problem for Utah. That's a big old problem. And I'll tell you who else. It could be a hot take. I think DJ Ukulele and this Oregon State team has revealed themselves to be a bit of frauds. I know they made a late game comeback, but that Washington State team was the better team the entire game. And Oregon State
Washington
should not
State's
be
good though.
No, they're very good, but Oregon State was 14 in the country, which and they have huge aspirations, and they didn't. To me, they didn't look good in that game at all.
A lot of people are picking them to beat Utah this weekend, and I think it's still the fact like people aren't going to bet on Utah without Cam Rising, but I don't know. Use very strong run game. Oregon State, they run the stretch play better than anybody in the country probably. Defense is good. But if you force them to pass and you force DJ, you could pronounce his last name, Ticket, you force him to pass, that's where it becomes problematic. So that's what Utah's going to have to try and do. And I don't know if they can, but we'll see. But that's going to be a great game. Should be a good weekend, I think. Couple good games.
Let me hit you guys with a quick round. You just say fraud or not, or you can expound on that a little bit, but let's make it a quick round. Yes. I'm going to throw a few teams at you, college teams, and you guys both tell me if you think they're the real deal, as in, really making any noise.
Playoff aspiration,
or just a top 10, someone that could compete to be in the top 10.
Okay.
Duke.
Fraud.
Okay. Miami.
They'll lose to Notre Dame this week.
Fraud.
Fraud. Yeah, not yet for the Canes.
Okay. Tennessee.
Fraud.
Yeah, I wanted to be a big buyer in Joe Milton this year, but the former Michigan man is really showing his true colors, so fraud.
Okay. Oklahoma.
Fraud. Texas is going to smoke them.
Wow. Okay. Washington State.
Fraud.
Okay. Fraud. UNC.
Fraud.
They're not bad.
They're not gonna make a playoff. I don't think they're gonna make the playoff. Could they finish in the top 10? I guess maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, but
Contender.
Contender.
Really?
Yeah.
Michael Penix, baby.
Michael Penix. I remember watching him at Indiana, and I just remember being like, "Yo, this kid's sick." And then he had those ACL injuries, and I thought he was done. And now he's at Washington, and this kid just lights it the fuck up. I mean, he just lights it up. Definitely a contender for me.
Okay. LSU?
Fraud. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll finish it up with Oregon.
Contender.
Really?
Bo Nix has got that team flying. I think they're good. I love that coach. I love that coach even more after what he did this weekend. They play for the
By
Clips.
the way, we called it. I said that we said that they were going to get blown to smithereens.
Yeah, I mean, we all took Oregon with the points. So I mean, Vegas. Listen,
even before I said this isn't even going to be close
for Vegas. For Vegas to put out a 21-point spread on a team that they had been taking a bath on every week, Colorado, who everyone had been betting, and they've been making money on Colorado, and Vegas probably losing money. For them to go out and say, okay, you want to keep betting Colorado? How about you? We'll give you 3 touchdowns. How about that? We'll give you 3 touchdowns. That is the ultimate red flag that should have told you, okay.
And they're without Hunter, their best player.
Yeah.
That couldn't have made much of it. I mean, he's a great player.
That
wouldn't have made
on
much
both. I know, but I'm saying he plays on both ends of the field. He's their best player.
Yeah, 100%. All right, boys. Well, let's move into week 3 here of the NFL season. Now that we've got that blockbuster NBA trade out of the way, let's move on to football. Let's start with probably the most interesting game, at least to me. How about the Miami Dolphins putting an absolute ass whooping on the Denver Broncos, throwing up 70 points? Mikey, does that say more about Denver, or does that say more about Miami?
Miami, to me. Now you got to remember, early in the year, September, Miami, very difficult place to go and play because it's still hot as nutsack over there, and especially for a team coming from Colorado to travel there. That's just it's always tough to play Miami early in the year in Miami. Always. However, this is a historic beatdown to beat a Russell Wilson quarterback team and to beat a Sean Payton coach team. That's defense. I didn't think the Denver defense was capable of ever surrendering more than 40 points. So for them to give up a 70 burger, and it really wasn't like they needed the whole game to score 70. They were scoring in bunches early and often. The Miami offense is like a track team. I mean, they just have speed at every single position. One guy is faster than the next. And the sickest thing is that Jalen Waddle didn't even play. Their second best receiving option didn't even play. But their running backs, Mostert and a chain, who, by the way, I picked up in the Brilliant
I saw that
football league.
Yeah.
A chain and Mostert look incredible. Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa, and I can't say it enough about Tua, and I'll be talking about him later. They are the envy of the league right now. And if they keep going like this, man, as of right now, to me, I don't see a team in the AFC beating them. I don't. And I know everyone's back on the Chiefs bandwagon now, but pump the brakes on that because they beat the worst team in football this week. So don't put too much stock in that yet. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, yes. But now with Rodgers knocked out, I do think the Bills are coming on very strong now. But Miami, they keep it up like this.
Spread this week?
Stays upright. Tough. 2.5. Buffalo, 2.5.
Buffalo's winning that game.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm telling you, right. I'm calling.
Are they in Buffalo or where are they in Buffalo?
It's in Buffalo.
Game's in Buffalo.
Buffalo is winning that game, and they're going to cover.
I'd take that.
Well, I mean, if they win the game, they likely cover. It's 2.5. So if you win the game, you're likely to cover.
You could take money line. I'm saying right now they're going to cover the 2.5.
Okay.
Josh Allen right now has something to prove. This Bills defense looked incredible last week, and
Sam Howell though, you gotta take all that into account.
I was talking about Sam Howell the 2 weeks prior. He looked unbelievable. All I'm saying is they have something to prove. Josh had a horrid week 1, lost him the game, arguably, and he's got something to prove. I love the Bills this week.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to Joey D's team, the Packers versus the Saints. The Saints looked like this thing was put away pretty early. Derek Carr goes out. Jameis Winston comes in. Not saying he's the reason they lost, but the Packers mounted 18 unanswered points to win that game. Joey D, what'd you see there?
Man, this team is gutsy. 18 points scored in the fourth quarter, unanswered. They looked down. They looked out. The game looked like over. And anybody who goes, oh, well, it was against Jameis Winston. Listen, that didn't matter. They just had to. The New Orleans Saints defense is not a pushover. They're a good defense. Jordan Love had something to prove that last quarter. And my God, he came out firing. If anything, they scored too quickly. I was concerned because they were going so fast on the hurry up on the last drive that they scored a touchdown on. I was like, what are they doing? Good for them, man. This team has heart. It's supposed to be a rebuild year. I said it at the beginning of the Sportsman. I said they would win 9 games. I still believe they will win 9 games. I think that they're going to beat Detroit this week. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. It's going to come right down to the wire. I don't know what's not to love. We didn't have Christian Watson. We didn't have Jair Alexander. We didn't have David Bakhtiari. We didn't have Aaron Jones. I could go on. There were so many big-time players missing, and for them to come back and win that game, good on the Packers. I love what I'm seeing. If this is a rebuild year, man, I'm loving it because Jordan Love looks legit. I'm sorry, Mikey V, but we might have another real good one in this Love kid, man. He looks good.
Yeah, he does. He does. Listen, the Packers haven't missed a beat. That's the bottom line. The Packers have not missed a beat since Rodgers departed. I don't think they have. What are they, 2-1 now? They lost a 1 game to Atlanta, right?
We kind of blew that game.
They blew that game. Yeah, and that was tough. That was a road game for Love. So, that's to be expected as a rookie. But he's not a rookie, not even close. But his rookie starting season on the road, well, you got to chalk that up. This Thursday night game is going to be an interesting game because obviously the motivation is going to be there for the Packers because they're playing the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year. So the motivation factor is going to be there. I'm a little concerned about Bakhtiari being out again, and Alexander and Watson possibly. They're all questionable again.
I think Watson and Alexander
if Detroit is not able to get after Jordan Love and pressure him, then Green Bay will win that game. If Detroit is successful in getting after him and pressuring him, I think that Detroit will win the game. So I think it's all going to come down to what kind of pressure are they putting on Jordan Love, and is it going to be consistent enough to win the game? I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great football game. It's actually one of the Thursday night games you look forward to, divisional rival game, but both good teams, 2-1 teams. This is a pivotal because the Vikings are 0-3 and the Bears are 0-3, and neither of them are winning this fucking division. There's no shot. So this game is pivotal this early in the year for the division.
It's a massive game.
It's a massive game, and to have a massive game this early in the season is very cool. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am, and it should be good. Should be.
Aiden Hutchinson's going to be a problem for us.
Yeah,
he's a problem for everybody.
There's a lot of
By the
problems.
way, friend of the pod, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, is he?
All right. Well, welcome aboard.
I know Mikey's not a fan of his Michigan Wolverine.
He's a Michigan boy. Well, we'll get more into that Packer Thursday night game against the Lions, but let's just move right on to the Lions versus the Falcons. They looked as good as advertised. They beat the team that Joey D just said mounted a comeback and beat the Packers a few weeks ago, albeit they were at home, and the Lions were at home on this game. But can that Lions team work with Jared Goff? Can they actually go somewhere with Jared Goff? Is he reliable enough?
No. Yes, because of their offensive line. Their offensive line is the best unit possibly in all of the NFL. So anything is possible when your offensive line is that good. They're that good. They're that nasty. They're that consistent. I think with that front, and now, you put Jahmyr Gibbs to the forefront a little bit more. Campbell wants to run the ball a little bit more. And then Goff is good enough. I think he's good enough. I think he can make all the throws. You just don't want him to get into these games where he's got to do too much. If he's going to be under siege, but it's tough to put him under siege because they got a lot of perimeter guys and they got this offensive line that's very, very good upper echelon. So it's difficult to make it work against the Lions. So I think the only way to beat the Lions really is you got to outscore them. Basically, you got to be able to outscore them. And if you can't do that, it's going to be a tough time for you. So that being said, that's why I kind of have my feelings about the game against Green Bay. Is, if you're putting pressure on Love and you're telling Jordan Love, you're going to have to score 4 touchdowns tonight to beat us, could be a problem. Could be. But yeah, the Lions, I'm not surprised they beat Atlanta. Atlanta's going to be, an up and down roller coaster all year because Desmond Ridder is wildly inconsistent. And, they're not built up yet, Atlanta, but they have a lot of nice players. And Bijan looks everything as much as he was sold to be. And so no surprise there from Detroit.
It was cool to watch the top 2 running backs go head to head. I mean, you were just talking about the Lions offensive line. They haven't seemed to crack that code with Jahmyr Gibbs yet and really get that, transferred into big running games that you can really rely on your running back to win you a football game. Albeit, I don't think
the first week against the Chiefs, but not with Gibbs. But in the fourth quarter, you saw them impose their will in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs. They could not be stopped running the football. But there's no question. They still, and I think these units, they're still getting their feet wet. And Gibbs, that's a whole new animal for them, and how he runs and how does he like to cut back and what's his vision like and what plays does he like and all that. But I think you'll see that develop over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be very.
I think they miss actually Montgomery a little bit because I know he's a good change of pace back, and he's very physical. At the goal line, he can push his way in, and I think it's good. I don't know if Gibbs is ready to be an every down back right now, right out of the gate. So as you saw in the Kansas City game, they used Montgomery a lot. Yep. They used him a lot, and then they threw in Gibbs, quick change of pace back, catch a couple balls out of the backfield. I think they work really well complementary. So we'll see what happens. But the Gibbs is obviously going to be a superstar, but I think Montgomery helps them a lot more than people realize.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, let's move on to me, the most fascinating team in football, a team that has all the talent in the world and refuses to win. And that's not just the quarterback they have now. That's not just the coach they have now. It's been in their DNA for quite some time. The Chargers, they won this week, but barely. They were trying to throw it away.
They won in spite of themselves.
They won in spite of themselves, which seems to be the only way they know how to win. It's never an impressive effort by the coaching staff, the players, the offense, the defense. But they did win this one. They went to Minnesota, another pitiful team. They barely won that one. What do you make of the Chargers there, Mikey?
I think I think it would behoove the Chargers if they got themselves a more conservative coach. And I'm not saying it's got to be a fossil. I just think someone with a more traditional mentality. This Brandon Staley on that fourth down going for it from his own 30 or wherever he was.
26-yard line.
Yeah. And I mean that even though they won, I'm sure there's fans out there that are calling for his job because of that one decision. Had they lost, which they should have, had they lost because of that decision, I'd fire him tomorrow. You have all of this talent. You have this quarterback that, you just paid. Justin Herbert just got a bag. You've got 2 all-world edge rushers. You've got an all-world safety. You've got all-world receivers. You got an all-world running back, albeit he didn't play. Now you just lost Mike Williams for the season, but you drafted the kid out of TCU, so maybe Quentin Johnson steps up for Mike Williams. But this team is loaded top to bottom, and I think that what holds them back is the fact that the pace of the game and the way the game is dictated is severely compromised by their head coach because he makes these off-the-wall decisions. And I'm not saying I'm against going for it on fourth down. I like when coaches get aggressive and go for it on fourth down. But never, not in Madden, would you go for it on fourth down in that situation. That is the most insane play it's beyond me. I thought he was gone after they blew the lead in Jacksonville in the playoffs last year. I thought that would be it for him. Certainly, should they not make the playoffs this year, I think he's gone. He's terrible. And I don't blame anyone else. Nobody else on that team. I think it starts and ends with Staley. He is the issue. He's got to go. And I'm sure Charger fans, but I never even hear what Charger fans have to say because that's a team so far off the beaten path in terms their fan base is one of the worst in football. So you don't really hear. They don't travel. I mean, they're just, I remember when they were playing out of the stadium, like there was nobody even at their games really. So their fans have to be fed up with Staley. They have to be because he is costing them. Him and him alone is costing them football games. Now, it didn't cost him Sunday, again, luckily for him, but that was some of the worst decision-making I've ever seen, and it's a recurring theme with him.
Joey D, any thoughts?
I agree 100%.
Right.
It's just nice to see the Vikings lose these games in front of their home fans. It's wonderful. I'm sorry to any Vikings fans listening. I appreciate your fandom. I appreciate your
Joe hates the Vikings more than the Bears. Fun fact.
Oh, no, I don't hate the Bears.
Yeah.
I do not hate the Bears because we've had our way with the Bears for years. And I don't hate the Lions. I actually like the Detroit Lions because I feel sorry for them as a franchise. The Vikings fans
takes pity on them.
Now, the Vikings fans are the worst. They're the most notoriously brain dead franchise when it comes. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. And you know what? No, they think that their team every year is going to win the Super Bowl, and they're not. And I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins stinks. He's a regular season quarterback.
He looked bad.
Can't win the big game.
He
doesn't look good. Last play, he's throwing the ball behind Hawkinson. It's just I don't.
You know what the classic Kirk Cousins move that I see all the time now, and like it took me a while. When he's in the pocket and he gets flushed and he goes down, he is the classic. As he's about to hit the ground, he tries to throw the ball out, and it's like the Kirk Cousins patented move. And man, oh man, does it just make him look so stanky?
I will say, if you like,
it just does.
Kirk Cousins.
It just does.
Kirk Cousins for fantasy is great because he pads all these stats.
Because he has Justin Jefferson.
But a lot of the times, if you watch the games, they're playing from behind. So they have to throw the ball late in the game. And a lot of these times they're playing by down 1 or 2 scores. So they're prevent defenses and they're not, so then you got Justin Jefferson, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, Keenan Allen looks phenomenal.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I have him in both of my leagues. I didn't know what I was going to get out of him. And now with Mike Williams going down, Keenan Allen is going to be
he's going to get like
5.
He's going to get 30 targets a game.
He had 20 targets. He made 18 receptions. He had 200 yards, and he threw a 50-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, I played you in fantasy this week, and he pretty much single-handedly banged me. He won. What did he have? Like 45
fantasy points.
Unbelievable.
He looks good. And with Williams going down, he's going to be good. The Chargers have weapons, even with Williams down. They still have Joshua Palmer. They still have that Parham kid who looks good. They got pieces. And when Eckler comes back, he catches a ton of balls.
Eckler should be back this week. And now the rookie, I mean, you drafted this highly touted wide receiver from TCU. He's got to step in and step up. That's it. He's got to step in and step up. Problem is, kid can't catch the ball. That's a big problem.
That's
when you're a wide receiver. That's wide receiver 101. Catch the ball.
You know who else they used to say that about?
Who's that?
Jamar Chase. Said he couldn't catch the ball. Rookie season in camp.
That's a whole nother. Well, I can't wait to get to that game.
We'll get there.
T. Higgins. What the fuck was going on with T. Higgins?
Oh my God. We'll get there.
That
was baffling.
That was. We can get there right after this one. I do want to talk about a team that I did not think was going to be that good, but most people thought would be. I think Mikey's included. I said to sell their quarterback for fantasy this year. The Ravens. It's their first loss of the season. They're only 2-1. I wouldn't hit the panic button yet, but they haven't looked particularly impressive to me. And now they just lost to a team that didn't even have their starting quarterback in. They had Gardner Minshew, albeit he's one of the better backups. He can instill some confidence in a team. He can revitalize a team for 2 or 3 games. Then it gets a little stale. But the Colts walked into Baltimore and won that game. Mikey, what happened there?
Baltimore is just riddled with injuries again, man. Like they had like 7 starters out on Sunday. And, there just gets to be a point where, yes, next man up. But it gets to be a point where there's a reason, these guys aren't starters in the league. They're just not up to par with the guys that are on the first 22 on either side of the ball. So, you could only replace so many guys. And I just think Baltimore every single year just gets destroyed by the injury bug. And, I hope they get healthy because I do think that they're one of the better teams in the league when they're healthy. But it's an issue with Baltimore. They're never healthy. And I think Indy did a good job of taking care of it. Like you said, Tick, Minshew's a capable, experienced backup quarterback who's won games in the past. He's done some great things in the past. So no, I mean, I'm not surprised. Certainly winning in Baltimore is a little bit of a surprise, right? But again, they're just riddled with injury. And if they don't get right and don't get guys healthy, it'll be another long season for them, unfortunately.
Lamar Jackson made a lot of mistakes this game. There was a lot of times, and I think it's like it's almost like he doesn't have presence in the pocket when these guys are coming around him, and the people are he's like holding the ball so loosely. I've seen it at least now 2 or 3 times this season where he's just holding the ball, and it's like somebody just knocks the ball out. He doesn't even know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with him. I have him in fantasy too. He actually had a great game for me this week. He ran two touchdowns in. But that being said, I feel like as soon as there's pressure on him, he doesn't make good throws. Like he doesn't look all there. He doesn't look great. The person I feel bad for is Justin Tucker, man. 61-yard field goal, and the whole crowd expects him to make the field goal to win the game in overtime. And it looked like it was dead center, and it was just a little short. And everybody just breathes this big, oh. It's like, guys, it's a 61-yard field goal, and you expect the guy to. I guess that's a level of greatness. Once you get to that peak, like, I mean, it's tough because everybody expects the world of you. But Baltimore will bounce back. The Colts showed a lot of heart, man. Colts have showed a lot of heart in a few games. They've been in a bunch of games. They got 2 wins now. They're a 2-1 team.
Yeah,
No?
that's true. Yeah, they are. Do we know when Anthony Richardson's coming back? Is he coming back this season? Anyone know anything about that?
He should
Oh, I
be.
don't think it was a huge injury. Yeah,
Okay.
you
I just didn't
probably
know.
come
I
back.
didn't know.
He'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back soon.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to one of the more surprising games of the week. A lot of people thought the Cowboys were the real deal. They still might be, but they went to Glendale and they got their asses kicked. There's no two ways
Yeah.
about that. A pitiful Cardinal team seemed to pick apart this Cowboys defense, man. Joe, what's going on there? Cowboys just have an off week or
They had a tough week. I was with Mikey in Chicago. They lost Trayvon Diggs for the season. And I said it's a big deal. And it's not even so much like they got gouged in the passing game. But when you deal with something like that, a season-ending injury in practice, that's enough to kind of throw you for a loop. Then you travel down to Arizona, who, by the way, was chippy as hell. They should have beaten the Giants. The Giants, for all intents and purposes, should never have won that game the week before. Yeah, they got spanked. I don't know. They found a way to deal with Micah Parsons, where he was trying to come off the edge and they were just running it down the gut. And you know what? Good for them, man. But I tell you what, if you are a Cowboys fan, you go from the top of the world to all of a sudden a little bit of cloudiness of doubt, because Dak just to me doesn't look like a guy you can rely on when you need points in a big game. Now, he made a couple big plays. He made a couple smart plays with his legs and a couple big throws down. He had that one big throw to CeeDee Lamb down late in the game. But I just don't feel like, when push comes to shove, and Tick, you've said this before, that this Cowboys team has the sauce or even the coaching. Mike McCarthy is an enigma. Like, I know he won me a Super Bowl, but Mike McCarthy to me, Ticket, is like Doug Peterson to you. Like, he won one Super Bowl with us with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and a team that was unbelievable. We probably should have won 2 or 3. I don't think he's necessarily a great coach by any means. So I don't know. We'll see. But Cowboys, man, that's a tough loss.
Mikey?
Yeah, I really honestly just think that it's this. I just think the Cowboys overlooked Arizona. I think they just thought they could walk in there and walk out with a win. I think they thought they didn't need to bring the juice on Sunday, and they didn't, and it bit them. And in the NFL, that could happen. And Arizona had hung around the previous 2 weeks. And they weren't a cakewalk. But I think, a lot of people read into the offseason stuff with this new coach that's like very bizarre, the coach at Arizona, and the Kyler stuff. And they're trading their picks to Houston. They're getting picks from Houston and they're trading their picks to Houston and they're tanking on purpose. And I think a lot of people read into that. And I just think Dallas sleptwalk. I think they just overlooked them completely. They spanked the Jets. And I think they just overlooked them. That's as simple as that. That's really what I think it came down to. I think they didn't take it seriously, and I expect them to bounce back this week. They got New England this week. I think they'll beat New England. Handedly.
Any given Sunday, man, in the NFL. That's given
correct.
Sunday.
That's correct.
Unless look at the Jaguars, man. Look at the Jaguars.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and I think the Cowboys I think they, in practice as well, they think they lost their center too. So or some linemen. And that can make a big difference as well. And if it's true that they overlooked the Cardinals, that's another coaching problem. That says something about Mike McCarthy, man. That's never good. You got to take him, like Joe just said, any given Sunday. But moving on, there's a lot of games we could go through, but I do want to get into next week. But I do want to end this one talking about the Bengals, man. I want to talk Rams, Bengals. I'm starting to turn to Mikey V's side more and more that maybe Stafford is washed. He did the classic Kirk Cousins. He's fallen to his knees and he's trying to throw the ball, man. And it was embarrassing, and he looked stinky because of it. And he looked stinky most of the game. And the Rams still found themselves only losing by 3, albeit it was a late game touchdown there that didn't really mean much. They knew they were going to win the game, but man, does Joe Burrow look like he's lost something? Oh, he looks bad.
He's not right. He's not
right.
He's hurt. It's obvious he's hurt. It's obvious something is off.
Is that true, or is that just a narrative they're spinning?
No, I really think something is wrong. You don't go from being that good to just not, But I got to tell you, T. Higgins didn't help him at all. They dropped so many balls. He dropped so many balls. I mean, it was pathetic. But yeah,
Balls
no,
in
Burrow,
his hands.
Burrow ain't right. Burrow ain't right now. And until they get it back on track with him, and until he's 100% moving in that pocket and stretching the pocket, which is something he does very well, and he's got deceivingly good legs. He could scoot. Until he could start doing that, it's going to be a tough go for them. It's going to be a tough go for them because he and admittingly, he said in his press conference, he was basically like, listen, like I wasn't looking to extend plays. He's like, I get rid of the ball or I'd have to take a sack. Like, that's it. And that's not Joe Burrow, and that's not how this Bengals offense works, and that's not what makes them great. What makes them great is his ability to extend the play, to extend the pocket, and then you got these guys like Chase and Higgins that break off their routes, and he hits them for big plays. That's what makes the Bengals offense really good. And that's not happening right now, and it's definitely a concern because if the Bengals had started 0-3, man, that's being 1-2 is such a big difference in being 0-3. So the Bengals are fine right now. But he's got to get right, and he's got to get right fast because it's ugly.
You know what told me everything I needed to see is before the end of halftime, they had a good 30 seconds almost, maybe 26 seconds left.
Yeah.
They're in a position where they could have tried to get down the field, and instead he waited the clock out, spiked the ball, and opted for McPherson to kick what was like a 52 or 53-yard field goal.
Yep.
When I saw that, I was like, I don't need to see anymore. There are severe issues here when you're not going for it. And it was only like 4th and 4 or something like that. It wasn't like it was like horrible, like long distance, like 4th down coverage. To me, that was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. It's embarrassing. Oh no, it was 3rd down. It was like 3rd down. And I saw enough that I could see they're in deep trouble right there. I don't know. You think that Mikey V, that maybe it's worse than they're leading on, that they're just like keeping it under wraps and they're not telling? Because like a couple times he tried to move out of the pocket. There was one time where they did a play action and he kind of turned around and he didn't even try to run. He just looked for someone and kind of threw the ball out of bounds. He looks very ginger with that. Like,
yeah, no,
it's not like when he's throwing the ball, his accuracy's all off. And I don't know if it's because he can't plant his foot.
Yeah, he can't plant. He's not pushing off. He can't plant. He's not right. He's not right. And it's at some point during the game, I'm saying to myself, listen, like, you're 0-2. I understand that this is your guy and he gives you the best chance to win, but not the way he's playing, not if he's compromised to this degree. And I understand he wants to play, but you also got to put somebody in there who can play and can play at 100%. But I guess, a 50% Joe Burrow is better than most quarterbacks in the league. I guess that's the mentality that the Bengals are taking right now. I hope he gets better because he's killing my fantasy team. But secondly, he's killing watching Bengals games because, I mean, it's just not the Bengals team that we've grown accustomed to the last couple of years with him at the helm.
Chase made a couple catches that were unbelievable, and they were not well thrown balls. There was one specifically on a long 3rd down. The ball was behind him as he's running a slant route. He made a great catch. Their defense looked good though. Trey Hendrickson looked really good, and Hubbard as well. They looked like they couldn't be stopped. The Rams had issues with them the whole game. By the way, that's another game that Vegas won all the money on. Plus, Rams scored a meaningless touchdown, +3 last second.
Bang me, Joseph.
I got the hook down to 2.5. I didn't even know.
Jesus. Well, you didn't say anything. You told me Bengals -3. I wrote Bengals -3.
I didn't. Well, you didn't lose.
That's true. I didn't fucking win either.
It was a tough between that and the Notre Dame game. Those are tough beats.
Notre Dame was one of the very worst. Jersey Jerry was absolutely right. And then, there's been a lot of I've had some of my worst beats of all time just this season so far. That New Orleans game, week 1. But anyway, we won't get into it. Let's get to week 4. But before that, we'll do the same thing we kind of did with college with the fraud or not. I'll go through some of the games that we didn't talk about in week 3, and you just give me a quick synopsis, the headline of the story here, very, very quickly, and then we'll get into week 4. Eagles beat the Bucks 25-11. Mikey?
Yeah, no, Eagles are the real deal. I mean, Eagles. Some people are gonna say they're not as good as last year. Jalen Carter's probably a top 3 or 4 player on the Eagles right now. I want to say
unbelievable.
And another these motherfucking idiot Bears passed on him.
No.
I don't know who's evaluating the personnel, but I mean, he was you don't go from being the consensus best player in the draft and then the off the field issues scares everybody off. He's a dominant force, a dominant player. I thought Jalen Hurts looked excellent on Monday night. I thought he looked excellent. I thought he made some. Yeah, I thought he looked excellent. I did. He tripped on the one play that was bad, but I really thought, yes, he threw a pick, but I thought he made plays out of the pocket that let me just say why I'm saying that. Number one, when he runs that push play, it's impossible to stop it. So that in and of itself, and I think that has more to do with him than the pushing of the tushing, right? I think it has more to do with the fact that this man squats 600 pounds. That makes him such an invaluable asset. But I think that some of the throws I saw him make, in particular, the one touchdown pass he had, where it was almost from midfield. There's only a certain group of guys who could make a play like that. That's why I say he looked at, because to me, are you winning the game and are you making plays that nobody else could make? And he was doing that. And that's why I say that. And the Eagles are 100% a contender. They're the real deal again. And I take it. I know as a fan, if it was my team too, I'd be questioning and nitpicking every little thing. I would be. So I get that. But I think they're right back on track to where they got to go. I really do.
Tell you who's got to wake up is AJ Brown. I don't know what's going on with that guy.
Dropped a lot of balls.
Dropping a lot of balls,
especially after he's come bitching on the sideline the week before.
He had an easy layup touchdown that was in his hands that he dropped. This guy's got to focus, man, because he's been bitching on the sidelines and he's dropping balls like crazy.
He still had a great game. I mean, he had over 120, 130 yards or something, 9 catches. I agree with you. I mean, yeah, if you're going to bitch like
don't
that,
complain if you're not.
I agree, Joseph.
But they are great, Chicken. You have to realize they are
and we'll see.
Perennial team in the NFC.
I'm not saying they're not a playoff team. I'm just not seeing a Super Bowl team right now. Just not seeing a Super Bowl team. I'm seeing a championship team who loses. Okay, Steelers, Raiders. Steelers won 23-18.
Brilliantly called game by Matt Canada, the much maligned Matt Canada. I thought he did. That was my takeaway from that game. I thought Matt Canada put Kenny Pickett in such a good position on Sunday night. I thought he called a perfect game for him. Didn't ask him to do too much, but didn't handcuff him completely. Play design, route runs, everything I thought was on point. I thought he did an excellent job. So hats off to him. And that was a good road win. You know, any road win in the NFL is a good win. So Steelers, that was a good one. That was a good one.
I would say that was a big bounce back game for Kenny Pickett, but Najee Harris looks lost.
He looks like he's running. He runs in molasses. He just runs in molasses.
It's a problem, man. That running game, when they bring out Warren, that Trey Warren, he looks better.
Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren.
Yep.
He looks better than Najee Harris.
He does. They should play. I've been campaigning for them to play him more. In my other league, I have him handcuffed.
And he's catching balls out of the field. Najee looks bad. That being said, Pickett, big week back. Pickens looks good. Yeah, I mean, he's a stud. And that defense is that defense is going to keep winning them games as long as Pickett can do enough to get them some points on the board. That defense is
they got to get. I think they got to get Hayward back to give him a little more.
Fitzpatrick is so good, man.
They got to get Hayward. They got to get Hayward back to get him a little more pressure up the middle because those corners can be had. Because you saw what Devontae. Now, I get it. Devontae could do that to anybody, but Jacoby Myers was catching a ton of balls. The corners got eaten alive. So Pittsburgh corners are a liability. They need that pass rush desperately. If Hayward comes back with TJ Watt and then Minka cleans up in the back end, Minka is a superstar. There's
been a couple plays in the game that were
Awesome.
unbelievable.
He is awesome. I've loved him since Alabama, and even when he was with the Dolphins. I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud. So good win for the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a quarterback called Just Win Jimmy and you take the ball away from him at the end of the game there, when you needed a touchdown, you didn't need that field goal. You don't give him the ball with Devontae Adams.
Another bizarre coaching.
Bizarre decision. Bizarre. All right, moving on here. The Chiefs routed the Bears 41-10.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to be said. I mean, Taylor
Swift was at the game.
That's the headline.
I mean, the Chiefs are a lead pipe lock. Chiefs were a lead pipe lock. I mean, the Bears have no answers for anything. I mean, the coach has no answer for anything. The quarterback is lost. They're the worst team in the NFL.
They probably are.
They're the
It
worst
might
team.
be.
They're the worst. No,
No.
they're the worst team in the NFL. Every other team you could give a redeeming quality. The Texans, CJ Stroud looks really good. The Jets, the defense looks very good. The Cardinals just beat the Cowboys. Let's think of the shittiest teams.
I'm of the opinion that Denver's the worst team in the league. I've been saying that for a while. I think they're shit.
Well,
I think
and
they're
now,
garbage.
and here's the thing. The Bears this weekend on Sunday are at home. They're at home against a winless Denver Bronco team.
Right.
That just lost by 50 points and gave up 70 points. And the Broncos are a 2.5 point favorite on said home team Bears. That tells you everything you need to know
bad.
and what Vegas thinks of the Chicago Bears.
We'll see how it shakes out, though. I would.
Give
I'm
me
gonna,
Denver
I'm
minus
gonna be
2.5.
tempted to take that plus 3.5. I'm gonna be tempted.
You're a fucking psycho ticket.
Ticket, at what point are you not going to get, like, you keep saying the Bears are okay.
I will absolutely fall back on
they're
that.
a disaster.
I get that. I also think very lowly of Russell Wilson in Denver, though, too.
Yeah, that's fair. But
but you're right. I'll pull back on the Bears. 100%.
They lost their defensive coordinator, whatever the hell is going on with the FBI. Their team got broken into, $100,000 of stolen goods from their. I mean, it's a landslide right now. It's a disaster.
It's like someone's asleep at the wheel, man.
Ownership is asleep at the wheel, as it has been since 1985. So, ever since McCaskey took over, the Sun, it's just been an absolute. His GM hires have been nightmares. The head coach hires have been nightmares.
Yeah,
it's just terrible. It's terrible.
Moving on here, the Seahawks beat the Panthers 37-27.
Yeah, I mean, Panthers, no Bryce Young.
Bryce.
Andy Dalton, he could look good for like a couple drives, and then you realize it's Andy Dalton, and he's like 100 years old. Seahawks, listen, Seahawks could run the football. They could play a little defense. They got very good weapons on the perimeter. Geno Smith is okay. I mean, the Seahawks are going to be fine. I think the Seahawks are a middle of the road NFL team. You're going to lose to them. Teams are going to lose to them. They're not. The Panthers are a bad football team. They're not a good football team, and hopefully they continue to lose, because right now Bears have the number 1 and number 4 overall pick, thanks to Carolina. So hopefully they just lose out and the Bears lose out, and then we could start this all over again next year.
What do you get, Caleb Williams?
If they get the number 1 overall pick, yeah, you have to.
Really? Yeah. You guys got to start focusing on other things than the quarterback, though. I mean, you got a lot of problems to fix.
That's my whole thing, is like, this is just because Caleb Williams is coming into town doesn't mean they won't fuck that up, because odds are they'll ruin him. It's an organizational failure from the top down. But until they sell the team, I don't think anything's going to change.
Yeah. All right. Texans go on to beat the Jaguars 37-17.
Really shocking game for me. Jacksonville, something is wrong with that offense. They have the most drop passes in the league, Jacksonville. They lead the league in drop passes. That's a problem. They got to get it together. I really was so on board with Jacksonville this year, man. I thought with ETN and with Ridley and with Kirk and with Ingram, I thought Lawrence was going to have like an MVP type campaign, and it's just not working out that way so far. And on the flip side, I got to tip my cap to CJ Stroud. I wasn't sure how he was going to translate to the NFL. But you know what? Maybe all that pocket passing and not running at all in college was beneficial for him. So good for him. I mean, he's playing and he's playing pretty well. I think he's the betting favorite right now for offensive rookie of the year. So good for him.
Trevor Lawrence, for as good as he is, makes some boneheaded decisions throughout the game. And this has been my knock against him ever since. And Ticket, I've gone back and forth on this for ages. He sometimes, there was a play on Sunday where he rolled out and he could have run easily for 10 yards at least and get the first down, and he tried to throw the ball downfield and it cost them. They had to kick the ball, and it was just like, there were so many opportunities for him to make plays, and I don't know, man. He's got talent, but he makes some boneheaded decisions.
Yeah, he sure does. It's I have little to defend right now with him. He's got all the talent in the world, but you're right. I mean, the mental, sometimes he's just it's like he's not there. It's like he's not paying attention. All right, guys. There's a few more games here, but let's touch on them for week 4. Let's keep it moving here. Let's just roll right into the Thursday night game. Lions are rolling into Green Bay, and they're a 1.5 point favorite. Would you guys like?
Packers.
I said before, I think the key to the game will be can Green Bay protect Jordan Love? If they can't, they'll lose. If they can, they'll win. That's how I think the game shakes out.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll take the Lions as well. Rams going into Indy. It's even to pick them. Who you guys like?
Give me the Rams.
If Richardson plays, I think it could be a very interesting game. If Richardson plays, you know what? Even if Richardson don't play, give me Indy. I'm so out on Stafford.
The Rams should have won that game against Cincinnati.
And Cincinnati's playing with a hobbled quarterback, and Cincinnati's in disarray right now. And Indy's coming off that big win at Baltimore now. Is that good for them or is it bad for them? I don't know. You could probably go back and forth with that, but I think Indy could beat them. I'll take Indy.
Yeah, I'm going Indy too. I think they got a lot of confidence right now. Give me Indy. Commanders going into Philadelphia. Philly's
downtime.
Philly's an 8-point favorite.
Yeah, no, Philly. Now listen, Philly may not cover. They may not cover, but they'll win. They'll win that game. It's a divisional game. That's a big spread.
I'll take the Commanders to cover the spread.
Okay. You go for it. Yep.
No, I think Commanders cover the spread. I think the Eagles win by a touchdown, but eight is a lot of points, man.
In a divisional game, it's a lot of points.
And that Commanders defense is not that bad.
It's a lot of points, but Sam Howell looked overwhelmed last week. I can't imagine what he's going to do with the defensive line that the Eagles have coming his way. Based on that, I probably wouldn't touch the game, to be honest, but if I was going to, I think the Eagles would cover that. I wish
I was an Eagles fan, bro. I really do.
Well, it's fun. It's fun now, Mikey. It was not fun for a long time. It was not fun for a long time.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like, the here and now, like, to me, Philly's like one of those teams that, like, right now, like, that's just a fun team to root for because they got the big hog mollies on defense up front who just crush quarterbacks. They got the super athletes on offense. They got a quarterback who's just tough as nails. Say what you will about him. He's tough as shit. I just think they're just a shove it right down your throat. They're just a fun team, you know.
They are.
But yeah, I think Philly wins. I don't think they cover necessarily, but they'll win. They'll win.
If we could just find a coach, would be great. You know,
Sirianni's a fucking weirdo, man.
He ain't it, dude.
And by weirdo, I mean asshole. That's what I mean.
Oh, I meant weirdo. I think he's a weird.
I think he's an
guy.
ass. I think he's an asshole. That's my thought.
Might be.
My Siri's going off, bro.
Oh, that's you, Mikey. It
is. Yeah, my Siri was going off.
Oh, let's take care of that, huh? Running a show here.
Sorry about that.
All right. Falcons are going to Jacksonville this week. Jacksonville's a 3-point favorite. Yeesh.
Man, oh man, bro. I mean, you know, you would think that Jacksonville should be able to cover that, but the way it's going, if I was to say anything, I'd probably just see what the over is. I think there could be a lot of points to be had.
43 and a half. 43 and a half.
I'll die on the Jacksonville hill for right now still. Jacksonville got to win this game. They got to win this game. Jacksonville, are they at home? This is a must-win game. They're at home, Jacksonville.
And what's the spread? 3.5?
No, are they at this is the London
I thought you
game,
said they were at
sorry, you're right. You're right. That's on me. This
is the London game.
Yeah, they're in Wembley. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me.
You can't take the over in those games, all the jet lag and shit.
Why does Jacksonville play every single London game? Those poor Brits, they got
there was a period before they got Trevor Lawrence where they were sort of trying to get Jacksonville to possibly move to London.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. I think that's a big part of it. But this is also the Toy Story game, guys. This is the Toy Story.
I know, that's cool, man.
I don't think it's cool. at all. I think it stinks.
How are they able to simulate it live with the animation? It's pretty amazing.
Artificial intelligence.
AI, baby. All right. Joe, did you give a pick on that? You said you're taking the Falcons?
I would probably take the Jaguars.
Okay. All right. I think I'm actually going to take the Falcons here.
There you go.
Trevor Lawrence has really disappointed me. I like watching the Falcons team for the first time in a long time. Bijan's a lot of fun. They got a lot of fun pieces on offense. I don't know if Desmond Ritter's ever going to be it, but he's kind of a fun. They're kind of a fun team to watch, even though they're not great. They're just interesting. They play the game differently than most.
You know
teams.
who I like on the Falcons?
Yeah,
I like
who?
Koo.
Oh, Young Ho Koo.
Young Ho Koo.
Young Ho, baby. Yeah, man. All right. Dolphins are marching into Buffalo. Buffalo's a 2.5-point favorite.
Gonna be a great football.
2.5?
2.5.
This is my game of the week. I'm giving the Buffalo Bills to cover.
Whoa! Wow.
I think everybody and their mother is going to take Miami. They just scored 70 points. The offense has been electric. They're scoring at will. There's some question marks with Buffalo. They got to go into Orchard Park, whatever it's called, in Buffalo. They got to win. And Josh Allen's got this game circled. He's coming for blood. Give me the Bills to win by 3 or more.
Josh Allen don't play defense though, Joe.
Well, the defense.
Tua has looked like the best quarterback in the league, like better than
He has.
I will even better than Mahomes
once. He's not gotten tossed on his ass once, and
He's
this
been-
week that's going to
He's
change.
been flying around like he's vintage Aaron Rodgers, man. The way he's like throwing off his back foot, he's doing whatever.
I will say the one shovel
That's
pass,
great.
the backhand shovel pass was sick.
It was sick.
Listen, you can't tell me that you go up to New England at night against that Belichick defense. And one thing the Patriots always do, they always play defense. Like they tried to come after Tua, and McDaniels is just protecting him with the play calling and the play design. It's just all designed to protect and let Tua do the things that he does best. And right now, I mean, he's making elite throws, just like throws that I'm just like, why can't I ever have something remotely close to this? Why? Why not? Why not
You
just
could jump
one?
ship, Mikey. You could jump ship.
I can't. That's cowardly. I can't do that.
You can become a
I'll never-
Packers fan.
I won't be able to look at myself in the mirror ever again.
I think Justin Fields
I'll
has
buy
it.
you a bunch of Packers.
He doesn't tick. If he does,
You don't think it's your
he-
team
he
and your
may-
offensive line?
He may have had it in him, but he's broken now. He's
I
broken.
don't think
Yeah.
Tua on the Bears. You just put Tua on the Bears. I think he looks very similar to Justin Fields. A little bit
Possibly.
better.
Possibly.
Very similar.
That offensive line is a disaster.
To crush anyone who comes in there.
Hmm.
So Mikey, you're taking who'd you say you're taking? I might have missed it.
I'm gonna take Miami.
Okay, you're gonna take Miami.
I think it'll be a great game though. I think
it
it'll be
does
great.
feel like a trap. It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Feel,
100%. 100%.
it does feel like a trap, but I'm gonna roll with the Dolphins as well. 2.5. I mean, dude, they look unbelievable.
Everybody's gonna take them.
I mean, I wouldn't call that my game of the week, but I'm gonna
No.
just say I'm gonna take the Dolphins.
I have trust in Josh this week.
Okay. All right.
Joe loves Josh, man.
Sure does. I love him.
He's
but
the
it's-
fucking best.
Yeah, I like him too, man. I
Yeah,
like him
he's
too.
good.
Oh,
Good
you
man.
said he looked like Mitch or who'd you say he
Cutler.
looked like?
Yeah, I mean,
Jake
look,
Cutler.
week
Oh,
one,
my
week,
God.
week one, he did look like Cutler.
All right.
What do you want me to tell you? I watched Cutler for a lot of years.
Also, Joe, he was morphing into Jay Cutler. He's
Right,
morphing.
Right. He hadn't become
That's even
worse
Cutler
than
yet.
saying
he was
he looked like.
morphing into.
All right. Broncos are heading to Chicago. Broncos are on the road here, and they're 3.5-point favorites.
It's 3.5 now.
I got 3.5 right here.
It was 2.5. Everyone's jumping on Denver. Yeah, Denver's going to win that game. Yep. It was 2. It opened at 2.5.
Mikey,
Now
can
it's
I just
3.5.
say something?
Denver.
The one good thing about the Chicago Bears stinking is you're betting against them every weekend. You're hitting.
Correct. Denver.
My
My
Did you
game of the week is
Whoa!
Denver minus 3.5.
Wow. That's going to be your.
Chicago.
It's in Chicago.
Oh, give me the Bears
Did you see that
Oh,
guy, that
no,
Bears fan
Joe,
last?
Joe.
at 3.5, Mikey.
Joe,
Denver
They-
looks lost.
the Bears can't even get a first down. They stink.
I'm going to take the Bears
Chicago
3.5 as well.
Bears. Chicago Bears are winning this football game.
Oh, God. I hope not.
I think they might win. I think they might win too. But even if they don't, I don't think they lose by more than 3. I'll take the Bears. Well, did you guys see the Bears fan last week who picked every single under possible on under on passing yards, under on rushing yards, on everything? He parlayed all of the Bears unders and he hit. He hit on every last under. I think it was on DraftKings.
I might do the same on Sunday. This is a get right game for Denver. This is exactly what Denver needed. Exactly what they needed. This is a get right game for Denver. And they're going to fucking beat them. And they're going to beat them handedly.
Sean Payton circled this game
Mike
weeks ago.
He's making money. He's making money and using the Benjis to wipe his tears at night.
Who is? Who is?
You are.
How is that?
By betting against the Bears.
Listen, I picked him week 1. And that's all I needed to see. And now the last 2 weeks, it's been easy.
Could you imagine you took them game of the week against the Packers?
I really thought they were going to win
That's
that
a
game.
man with high hopes.
I did too.
Really did.
I sure did.
Hey,
too.
they hung around the first half. First half was a close half. And then that was it.
Yeah, that's the last close half they've had since then.
That's correct. That's correct. No, the first half against Tampa, they
it was close.
game.
It was comedic. It was more of it wasn't factual.
Yeah, well,
It's felt that way. All right. Baltimore is heading to Cleveland. Cleveland is a 3-point favorite.
yeah,
Wow.
I gotta see what Baltimore's injury report looks like to see like what I would really do in that game.
I'm gonna go Cleveland.
If it's the same, it's gonna be tough to go against Cleveland. It's gonna be tough to go.
If it was 2.5, I'd love Cleveland, but 3 is I'm still gonna go. I'll go Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go Cleveland too until I look at the injury report.
All right. I'm also going to go Cleveland. 3 minus 3. Bengals are heading to Tennessee. Bengals are 2.5-point favorite in Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee and Vrabel, and that's a weird game.
They're messy, man. Tennessee's messy.
They are.
That's
the
a tough
Bengals,
one, man.
the Bengals
They look
Bengals
bad.
just don't look right. Yeah, they just don't look right. I bet you though, this could be the week that they just get it right. Maybe.
I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll go
You
Cincy.
both going. Oh, you're going Cincy. This is okay.
Yeah.
I want to go Tennessee, but I actually think Cincy will end up hitting. I feel like it's the same thing. A lot of people are going to overreact to how bad the Bengals looked last week, and they'll take Tennessee, and then Cincinnati will win by like 6 or 7 points.
Yeah, I'll take Cincy minus 2.5 as well. I think that's.
I'm going to jump on
right.
Cincy.
I think that's right, Joe. What you just said.
I just talked myself into Cincy.
Yeah, forget you talked me into it. All right, Tampa Bay's heading to New Orleans. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite.
With Jameis?
Yeah, how long is Derek Carr out? Do we have any idea? He's certainly out for this
week.
game.
I think it's week to week.
That's crazy, though. Tampa stinks. That's why I was, I don't want to get back into it, but that's why there was nothing impressive about what the Eagles
Alvin
did.
Kamara's back.
Tampa was
And
2-0.
Kamara's back.
Tampa was 2-0, man.
They stink, Mikey. So many people say, but they were 2-0. It's early in the season. Teams are still figuring it out. It's Baker Mayfield. The Bucs stink. They will not end up winning more than 6, maybe 7.
I mean, I said before the season I thought they would stink. So.
And they do stink. There's nothing.
they
There's
do.
nothing new about it.
Baker's a clown.
He sure is. He
Whoa!
sure is. He is a clown. Like,
Guys,
He's one of our guys.
Now, everybody you ever meet, you say he's one of our guys. It could
Yeah,
be you could
at
have met
some
him
point-
for one day. He's your guy. He's not your guy, Joe. Guy doesn't even fucking like you, probably.
also, at some point, we're gonna get so popular where just bad guys might
Right.
like
You
us.
can't say anybody. Right. You can't say anything.
Yeah.
No, listen, I picked the Saints to be a sleeper to fucking win the NFC, so I'm going to stick with the Saints. And I'm going to stick with the Saints. I think the Saints got a good team. I really need Carr to get back, though. I need Carr to get back because, like Joe said, they have a really good defense. And if Carr's in there, he can manage the game enough on offense to win. So, if he's going to be out, he's out. But I'll still take the
The
Saints.
Saints defense is solid. I'll take the Saints too.
I'll take the Saints.
Okay.
Baker's going to make some mistakes for sure this game.
Some mistakes. Yeah, he'll make a lot of mistakes. I'll take New Orleans as well. Vikings are heading to Carolina. I got to piss like the Dickens. I'll be 2 seconds, but Minnesota is a 4-point favorite heading to Carolina.
Minnesota is going to win this game handily this week. They need this win so bad. The Panthers are solid, but again, with no Bryce Young, I can't see them. I can't see them covering.
So I think he is trending to play this week, but even that being said, I still think that Minnesota has to win this game. Like Minnesota, if they start 0-4, I mean, it's going to be
there'll be riots.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. So, yeah, I'll take Minnesota to get their first win on the road at Carolina this weekend.
You're taking cover as well with the 4.
Was it 4? Yeah,
4.
Sure.
I think that's the right play, Mikey.
Sure.
We're both taking Vikings with 4.
All right. I'm gonna take the Vikings as well. Is Bryce Young back?
He's trending towards playing, they said, I think, yeah.
Okay. You know what? If he plays, I'll take the Panthers.
Oh yeah?
Kirk Cousins just, man, he's
4 points. The Vikings have to win this game, man.
They're also in Carolina. Hey, they can still win the game. I'm getting 4 points here.
Yeah, that's true.
I just think Bryce Young, it's more about Kirk Cousins. Everyone says he's a regular season all-star, and then he folds in the playoffs. It's starting to look like he ain't no regular season star anymore either, man. He's looked pretty pitiful. He's lucky he's got the weapons, some of the best weapons out there. Hawkinson's one of the better tight ends out there, and Jefferson's by far the best wide receiver. He's lucky, man, and I think his time's running out. Pittsburgh's heading to Houston. Pittsburgh's a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins this game. I do love CJ Stroud, and I love what the Texans are doing there. I'm impressed with it. But I do think that Pittsburgh is just smart defensively, and I think rookie quarterback's gonna have a tough time against that defense.
Yeah,
I just think
Pittsburgh too.
And I'm not even saying the Pittsburgh defenses are like world beaters, because I don't believe that to be the case. But I do think that they're savvy and they're veterans. You got Pat Peterson, you got Minka, you got Watt. I just think they're so savvy that they're gonna be able to just outsmart and confuse CJ Stroud. So for that reason, and actually, I'm going to switch my game of the week. I get on the Bears and I rag on the Bears, but I'm very, very certain. And I think that this is a bad line. I think this is a bad line that should be attacked. I think Pittsburgh is going to fucking win this game by like 2 touchdowns, maybe. Give me Pittsburgh minus the 3.
Holy shit.
I take Pittsburgh as well.
You're bullish. You're very bullish.
I'm bullish on Pittsburgh.
He might make the bet right now.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that's a line that I definitely probably see going in the wrong direction. If you like Pittsburgh, I could definitely see it closing at like 4.
Oh, geez, man. There's something's going on with the quarterback position over there. KP Pickett.
He's our guy.
I know he's our guy. We've got a guy.
I like the way Pickett looks Sunday night, man, and
he looks solid.
And again, I know the Raiders. It's the Raiders, and the Raiders don't have a good defense. I get all that,
Texans.
But you're on the road in the NFL. The Texans' defense aren't world beaters either. I just think that if the Pittsburgh Steelers could get over the obsession with having to run Najee Harris. And losing plays because they're only getting a yard or 2 on those plays. They're literally just giving away plays. I'm not even saying stop running the football. I'm not saying stop running the football. Just stop running dives with Najee Harris. Run those plays with Jalen Warren, and then let Najee do a little cleanup job on like 3rd and 1 or 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2.
Get his confidence up.
When it's 2nd and 3 or shorter, if you get to 2nd and 3 or shorter, run Najee. Go ahead, run them till your fucking balls fall off. But they need to get over that first. If they do, they'll have something figured out over there in Pittsburgh.
They have solid players between Pickens. Firemouth is a good tight end, and Allen Robinson isn't a slouch.
And if you listen to Jersey Jerry, he'll tell you that Calvin Austin is the fastest player in the league, faster than Tyreek Hill. That's what he told me Sunday night. He's the fastest player in football. That's what Jersey Jerry said. Quote.
They got the fastest player in football, and they got the absolute slowest. Najee Harris is the least explosive man I've seen.
And then of course, he believes TJ Watt is the greatest defensive player in football.
He's up there.
He's pretty good.
Certainly is up there. But I gave Jersey Jerry.
I'd say Micah Parsons is up there,
and that was the coin flip I gave him. I said, so you're starting a team, you take Parsons or do you take TJ Watt? He said TJ Watt would both.
Of course he's going to say.
I mean, Myles Garrett's got something to say too. And then you throw in Aaron Donald. He's still no slouch.
Sure does. Those are right. Those are the top dogs.
Come on, Jalen Carter's starting to make a name for himself too.
Jalen Carter. Yes. And let's not forget about no one on the Bears.
How about Bosa with the Niners?
Yeah, Nick Bosa's a stud. Those are like, those you're talking about the top tier guys, all these guys.
You know who I didn't follow what happened to him? What happened to Khalil Mack?
He got old.
Where did he go to?
Went to the Chargers.
He's in the Chargers. Him and Joey Bosa are on the Chargers.
He's still.
You got to remember, Khalil Mack was 30 years old when he came to Chicago. So, and that was 2018.
He was amazing with Chicago.
Khalil Mack's on the wrong side of 30 now.
No, of course. I just completely he dropped off the face of the
Bears traded him to the Chargers in 2021.
Okay.
They traded him to the Chargers.
Interesting. It's as good a place as any to die, man.
Sure
all right. Raiders are heading to LA to play the Chargers. Chargers are a 5.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. I do.
I'm going Raiders.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Just win Jimmy, baby.
Can't do that.
Just win Jimmy.
5.5 is.
I don't know if he's gonna. He's not gonna play though. He's concussed.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
When did he get concussed?
On Monday night. Sunday night. I'm sorry.
When they gave up the ball on fourth, when they decided to kick with like 2 minutes left, he was still in that game there.
Yeah, he's concussed.
When
Tim Boyle likely to get the start.
So he was concussed earlier and he just kept playing, you're saying? And then,
I don't know when exactly it happened, but he's concussed.
Oh boy, if he doesn't play, then even the Chargers shouldn't fuck this one up. I'll go with the Chargers minus 5.5 as well. Yeah.
I'll stick with the Raiders.
You're gonna stick with the Raiders, even if it's Tim Boyle?
If anybody can fuck it up, it'll be the Chargers, man. They shoot themselves in the foot every week.
If I was the Raiders, I'd give Aiden O'Connell a start. Why fucking not? The kid from Purdue. See what he's got.
You like that guy.
I always did. Yeah, I think he can sling the pill a little bit.
The thing with the Chargers is they do lose and they do throw away games, but they do always put up a lot of points, man. And that's one of the things that even if Jimmy G's in there, they seem to win more 17-20, 21-15 kind of game. I don't know if they can score with the Chargers.
He can't bomb the ball like Herbert. He can't.
She
can't do that.
No.
There's only certain guys that can, but he certainly is not one of them.
Who can? Who could? It was Mr. Jay Cutler. He could bomb the football. He might have had the best cannon ever to play.
He had a rocket.
He had a fucking rocket.
Yeah, he did.
And so does Mr. Josh Allen.
And see, that wasn't really I loved smoking Jay. Like I did. So when I was saying Allen was morphing into him, it wasn't really that big of an insult. It was just the lackadaisical interception throwing. Like just the boneheaded, like what are you doing interceptions? But not to say that those games Cutler would still throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns. But then he would just throw 2 interceptions. And you're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Gunslinger,
man. Gunslinger.
I loved him too because
that's not an insult.
He was kind of a dick too. I kind of like that.
Smoking Jay?
Smoking Jay was kind of an asshole.
big time dick.
Big time dick, dude. And I like that. I like that on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Patriots are heading to Dallas. Dallas is a 6.5 point favorite.
Yeah, Dallas bounced back after the Arizona game. They have to bounce back. This should be a game where they're motivated. 6.5 is a lot of points against a Bill Belichick team. It is, but I would take Dallas if I had to pick the game. It wouldn't be a game I would pick, but I would take Dallas. Yeah. We have to do it, right? So I'm taking Dallas again. I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't advise it, but that would be my pick.
I'd probably look at the over/under in this game before I picked a side.
No, that's how I felt about Jacksonville, Atlanta.
43.
Yeah, I like the under.
Like the under?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the under on that game.
Way under.
I tell you what, gentlemen, this is my pick of the week.
Whoa!
Is it really?
I'm going with the Patriots.
I would have gone with the Patriots too.
I like Mac Jones. I think he's actually better than a lot of people think. I think they've shown a lot of promise this year.
Mac Daddy.
And I think Zeke coming back.
Oh my God.
He's gonna have a fuck you game right in front of Tony Pollard, man.
Listen, Zeke is a Buckeye legend. But Zeke's fucking wheels, man, have no tread left on the tire, man.
Who's
they got no tread.
Who's more washed, Zeke or Matt Stafford? Different positions.
Different positions. Tough to say.
Zeke.
Yeah, probably. Zeke is just those legs, bro. You know, like he's been getting 30 carries a game since 2000 and
too much of this.
Yeah, he's cooked. He's cooked. Now he may get you a touchdown if you get him like inside the 5.
Yeah, and that's where he'll get it. And he'll hand the ball to Tony Pollard once he does.
And then he'll jump in the Salvation Army basket.
That's right. That's my game of the week. It's ballsy, but you got to have balls to get in this
tickets game of the week. New England plus 6.5. Joey D's game of the week.
Bills minus 2.5.
Bills minus 2.5. My game of the week. Pittsburgh minus 3.
Okay. So those are our 3 games of the week. We got 3 games left here. We'll run through them and then we'll do some questions and we'll get out of here. Might do who's a problem based on the level of tiredness from the guys. But let's jump into Arizona. The Cardinals are heading to San Francisco. San Francisco is a 14-point favorite.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, listen, double touchdown spreads in the NFL is tough to go by. It screams for you to take Arizona because Arizona just beat Dallas. Like, how could Vegas set this spread at that number after Arizona just beat Dallas? That means you count it. If you're going to bet the game, and I wouldn't because it's too stupid to do, but if you're going to bet that game and you want to just bet the spread, why? I don't know. You should have your fucking head examined. But if you want to do it, the only play is to take San Francisco. The only play is to take San Francisco. You can't take Arizona in that spot. You just can't. Not at that number. So I would look for other avenues. I would look for different bets within the game. But we have to pick the spread. The only play, in my opinion, is San Francisco.
Well, based on Robbie's story today, the Duke likes Arizona for his game of the week.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I bypassed a lot of the Duke content this week.
The Duke content's the best.
Yeah, I
gotta ride with the Duke. Give me Arizona. Plus 14, baby.
I tell you what, the Duke is going to lay a fucking egg this weekend, man. The Duke's going to lay an egg.
That being said, there will be no actual bets placed on this game in real life.
Now, if Arizona gets the doors blown off, Joey D next week on the Sports is going to be like, I tell you, this clown, the Duke.
I absolutely will.
I can tell you what I think. This spread's going to be dead in the water by halftime. I think this is.
By the way, Mikey,
I think it's going to be really out of hand.
Ticket and I worked with that guy at the Beverly Wilshire.
I don't remember him. I don't at all.
So Bob knows him.
He knew him from the past, but he got randomly paired with them. And then the Duke,
but he knows him. So he does.
The Duke didn't remember him.
He didn't remember Bob at all.
Okay.
And Bob, and we didn't really know him that well. He worked for PSAV. He did lighting and shit like that. He was a weird guy.
Oh, he was one of those guys.
Yes.
Oh boy, what a liability. Okay. Yeah. I'm taking San Francisco minus 14. I think this gets out of hand pretty damn quick. All right. Chiefs are heading. This is our Sunday night game. Chiefs are heading to MetLife, playing the Jets. Chiefs are a 9.5-point favorite. What are you laughing at?
I just think the Jets are just in so much trouble, man. I mean, the Jets are in so much trouble, man.
Jeff Wilson is not it, man.
Yeah, that's another one of those spreads where it's like, yeah, I mean, it almost, I think, should be higher a little bit, but I guess it can't be. But Chiefs, give me Chiefs.
I think since it's Sunday night primetime game, it's probably a little bit lower than it would be if it was a 10 o'clock or a 1 o'clock game. I would imagine, right? That's what I would think. But the Chiefs, yeah, man. Jets are such a good team, but it just goes to show when you have a shit quarterback how an entire 52-man roster can go to shit with just one. You got 51 good players, but that last one guy, the quarterback, if he stinks, the whole team stinks.
Yep. And
the Jets cannot figure it out. Give me Kansas City minus 9.5. I'm not going to even go near that game, but if I got to pick it, minus 9.5. And then our Monday night game, last game of the week, we got the Seahawks. These Giants keep finding their way into primetime games. I don't know who was booking this. They thought the Giants were going to be somebody. They aren't nobody. But the Seahawks on Monday night are heading to MetLife to play the Giants, and it's even. It's a pick'em.
Yeah, pick'em game. Saquon not going to play again, probably.
No.
Man. Giants hung in there for a little bit against San Fran. Now they're back home.
Give me the
Yeah, but
Seahawks.
I still got to go Seattle though. I still got to go Seattle.
I think
Seahawks have a pretty
Walker,
good running game, man.
Kenneth Walker, I was just going to say, Joe, I think he's just going to run all over him.
Yeah, I think it's pretty,
You saw
pretty
McCaffrey
simple.
ran all over the Giants.
The problem is these Giants keep making late game comebacks. They don't always win, but they have at points. I mean, they like coming alive at the end of these games, man. And but I think it's pretty simple. I'm starting to buy into what Geno Smith is slinging over there. I'm starting to be about. I mean, I'm not. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they could be disruptors this year.
And
I think
that's Mountaineer like ticket.
That's right. You don't want to sleep on Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker. Give me them and the pick 'em. I think it's pretty simple. Gentlemen, it's getting late. I know, Mikey V, you're probably pretty tired over there. You're getting a little sick. Do you want to skip Who's a Problem? Just do some questions?
No, I got to do Who's the Problem.
You want to do Who's a Problem? All right, let's jump into Who's a Problem. You seem eager, so we'll end with you, Joey D. Give me your problem this week.
My problem is we talked about it in the episode is Staley.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the Clemson kick.
No.
I
mean, that guy's a liability. And apparently, what I didn't know is they called him. The kid wasn't on the team, and
he's like 31 years old, Joe.
Which is all the worse. Anyways, Staley is my problem. This guy has not figured it out. Mikey V said it, so I'm gonna be quick and to the point. This guy has not figured it out. For an algorithm guy, he should realize the algorithm's against his favor. So whatever he's done, just do the opposite and you might be okay. He's got a great team there. The team that could be playoff content, like a definite playoff team. They blew a freaking lead last year in the playoffs against the Jaguars, which they should have won. I went to a game against the Raiders where he went same thing on their own 20 or 30-yard line, fourth down, a big game prior to the season, before the playoffs, went for it, didn't get it. He does this all the time. And it's just like, I can't imagine if he was your coach or he was my coach, I would be livid. This guy needs to figure it out. He needs to figure it out fast. He's been a problem for a while, and he still is a problem.
All right, I'll go next. My problem is a guy who's been a problem for a long time, and he's found himself being a problem on many different teams. There's only one guy who seems to be able to turn him into some sort of solution, and I'm sure he will once he leaves this team inevitably as well. I think Josh McDaniels is one of the league's very, very worst head coaches, possibly of all time. I think this guy, I've been defending Jimmy G for a long time. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback by any means, but I do think he finds ways to win football games. I think he's one of the best game managers out there when healthy. And to be in a situation this week where you're on, I think it was fourth down, and you were on the 5 or the 4 yard line, time's ticking. You're about the 2-minute warning. You haven't proven to get in the red zone too often this night. You need a touchdown regardless. And he rips the ball out of his hand, and they kick the field goal, and they go on to obviously lose that game. They never really had a shot to get the ball back and even get in a position where they would score a touchdown anyway. Unless they threw a Hail Mary to Devontae, but it never even got to that point. This Josh McDaniels needs to really, I think he needs to not just, eventually go back to Belichick and find his way in a Belichick team, because that's the only time he's been successful. I think this guy needs to take a year off and just really think about what he wants out of life, because it's not being a head coach. He's no good at it. Go find something else. And if you find you stink at everything else in life, you can't make bread, you can't open up a restaurant,
coordinator ticket.
Then you go back to New England. If you must go back to football, do something with Bill, because he is rancid. This guy stinks. He doesn't suck. This guy stinks. That's my problem. Mikey V, who you got this week? Who's the problem?
My problem is he's a good problem, right? So he's a problem. Okay. He's a problem. He's a problem for the rest of the league right now. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa is a problem. He's going to continue to be a problem for every team he plays if he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, he is playing the quarterback position at the highest level that I've seen it played out in a long, long time. He is making anticipatory throws. He is making every throw on the field, like Joe said, off his back foot, doing this, doing that. And again, last week, 70 points without his second best target. Are you actually kidding me? They have it all working. Mike McDaniel is he's got to be in discussion for best head coach in the league right now. Has to be. He's got to be up there for at least the discussion. He's got to be in the discussion right now as it stands today. They're mixing in the run perfectly. Everything is clicking for them, and it starts and it ends with Tua. And a healthy Tua is an elite Tua, and listen, I wouldn't give the guy credit. I'm not a Bama guy. I often, overly criticize a lot of quarterbacks that come out of Bama, but this guy is he looks so good. He's a problem, man. He's going to be a problem for a long time in this league if he stays healthy, dude.
Yeah. Yes, Joe.
I have one more problem.
Oh,
And I speak on the behalf of a lot of people, and I'm starting to see this shit all over social media now. I'll tell you who's a problem for football. Taylor Swift is a big old problem for the NFL. All these women now telling guys that Taylor Swift made Travis Kelce who he was and all this shit. We don't need all these Swifties over here watching the NFL. I'm sorry. I'm inclusive. Me and my girlfriend, we watch the games all the time. I love having this Taylor Swift. This is going to be a massive problem. You watch, because what's going to happen? Travis Kelce's going to break this girl's heart. I'm telling you right now, he will. It's going to happen. I know this.
Joe
guy
knows Travis Kelce, so he knows better.
He
than
is
most.
going to absolutely destroy this.
he's our guy, Mikey. This is another one of our guys.
He is a big one of our guys. And what's going to happen is every one of these Swifties is going to come roaring like hell. They're going to boycott the NFL. It's a big problem. I'm telling you right now, there's paradise right now. It's all lovey-gushy and happiness. When this falls apart, it's going to be a big problem for the NFL. You watch.
I tell you what, I have a theory on it. I think she's going to break our poor guy's heart. I think she's going to dump him. I absolutely do.
Never met this guy, man. This guy is a different breed.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I've got a lot of opinions about him, but I'm of the opinion she's already the biggest act in the world. She's got more fans than possibly anyone anywhere.
I don't get it.
I think she's
like
trying to get football fans. I think she's only in it to get some of these football fans and bring them
she ain't
over
getting me.
and bring. Really, I was already. I like her.
either.
Oh, I love her.
I don't understand. I don't understand the obsession with her. I don't
the
get
music.
it.
Oh, I'm not obsessed, but I like the music.
No, but I don't get
I'm the problem. It's me.
Those are lyrics. Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't like it's okay. You don't like the music? Is that what you're saying, Mikey? Or you don't get that she you're a man's man. Yeah, how could you?
No.
Listen,
I listen to Whitney Houston. I listen to Shaka Khan. I listen to I listen to I listen to Donna.
He's
Summers.
a man.
I listen to the women who were like grooving for their time. Taylor Swift to me is a child. She's a child. She's a child appealing to children. She's a child appealing. Is she though?
But now she's trying to get the man-child audience.
Like
all the guys watching.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like 34, though.
She's a problem.
Give me Shaka. I will take Shaka Khan with a bullet every day over Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And you know what? She says she's a problem in her lyrics.
You've already gone over that. That's right.
Well, I just have to say because Mikey doesn't. It's me.
Joe.
I'm the problem.
She's no Sade, I could tell you that.
All right. Well. See, now you're picking women that you listen to that is still like very cool and hip that makes you still seem like a man's man.
Whoa.
He's a man.
Sade, I mean, you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sade's an icon, man.
That's a cool
and I guess Taylor
to
Swift is too to children.
If
you looked at Taylor Swift's demographic, it's got to be like 25-year-old girls or under.
100%. Well, I think a large chunk
30
of it.
and under.
There's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of us middle-aged.
So you are a Swiftie.
Tick, are you a Swiftie?
Tickie's a Swiftie.
I'm not a Swiftie.
He is.
Listen, if I had tickets, I'd go.
Yeah. unless I bought them for him. Anyway.
Find a way not to show up to that one.
All right. Let's do 3 viewer questions and get the hell out of here.
Tick. This has been a gauntlet.
Well, the people firing their questions. We got to give them
All
3.
right, yeah,
you know how
fair
many I
enough.
got in front of me? We'll get to them later, but we're going to do 3 to honor the people who keep subscribing and firing their questions. First question. Mark Buttonham. He wants to know, he said he brought my cello on an airplane today and he got some looks. Am I in the wrong? I think it's a question for you, Mike.
You sure fucking are, pal. You sure fucking are. Take a walk. Go to the ticket. Don't do that question. Do another question.
I thought, well, it's number 1, and EA texted me specifically. He wanted you to answer that.
He wanted
question.
that one. Yeah, no,
it
it is on you, pal. It is on you. You're a clown. So yeah.
Well, I thought
thanks for listening.
Quite honestly, I thought that was going to be your problem this week. Was the cello guy?
No.
Okay, all right.
I didn't want to give cello guy any airtime, to be honest.
You guys have a couple stories worth.
Well, the stories were, I mean, they were hits. That was hits, Joe.
That guy at the urinal, what was that?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you're not afraid of some splashback there?
Joe, this guy would not let that thing leave his fucking side. He bought a seat for it, Joe. The man bought a seat for it. It's crazy.
Maybe he's like the next Beethoven or something.
Perhaps.
Could be Beethoven.
He's the next Mozart.
All right, next question. We're talking about musical acts here. David Kilch wants to know, or Klitsch rather, would like to know, with the announcement of Usher performing Super Bowl halftime, what would your guys' dream halftime show be? We know Sade would be Mikey's, but Joe, you got any thoughts there? Who would be your dream?
I know who Mikey's would be. The Eagles would be Mikey's.
Oh, I would love the
with
Eagles.
Steely Dan opening.
With Steely Dan. If you throw in
who would mine be, man? Honestly, that's a good question, dude. I think maybe
you love Justin Bieber. You love Justin Bieber.
Give me Justin Bieber with the Rolling Stones.
Oh my God.
Why don't you throw in Frank Sinatra with him too?
That would be electric, man. That would be
electric, man.
That would be electric. Justin Bieber and the Rolling Stones, baby.
I can't deny that would be electric.
Justin just dueling it out on the stage. Just duel.
Give me Pearl Jam with Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
That's sensational. That's awesome.
Sure is.
That is awesome. Damn, that's good. I was gonna, I tell you what, they're not necessarily my favorite band, but I did already get someone that I thought would probably be one of the best of all time, and that was Red Hot Chili Peppers. Sure, their instruments weren't plugged in, but did they put on a show nonetheless? Yes, they did.
A lot of people love them, man.
I'll go with like Kings of Leon. They're one of my favorite bands. I'd like to see a Kings of Leon thing.
Tick.
But I tell you what, if you give me Bob Seger and you give me Pearl Jam, that might be one of the best experiences live. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Now, I mean, if you throw the Eagles and Steely Dan in with that, come on now.
That's right. Come
on now.
All right, boys, let's do one more. This one comes from Aiden Hughes. What's worse? We got 3 things coming up here. I guess let's rank them 1 through 3 of what would be the worst. The Bears. My eating habits, apparently, because I like Postmates a lot. That's been a thing recently. And Joey D's wedge game.
Wow.
Has been resurrected.
I would say Joe's wedge game, tickets eating, and the Bears is number 1. Biggest problem.
Really?
Yeah, by far Bears. Bears better be at the top of both of your lists as number 1.
Mine is tickets eating habits.
I think it might be my eating habits.
Wow.
It's been bad. It's been really bad.
It's been really bad. Postmates is
the big thicket.
That's right.
Yeah, that's still that's a great nickname, man.
That's
big
great.
Thicket. You like that?
Yeah, because once you start pumping iron again, ticket like we talked about in Chicago, and you're walking around and people are just calling you fucking thicket, you're gonna just feel like a bad man.
He says he's gonna get shredded. He says he's gonna get shredded.
Well, this year I finish off being the fattest I've ever been. Next year I'm taking.
Yeah, you gotta. I agree. You gotta finish this year. You're in football season.
Actually, go to Mikey for guidance to help train you.
Workout of the day. That's a plus for the only.
Could you imagine a story like that? That would be phenomenal. Mikey,
I'd love to get a before and after of the ticket.
Oh, that would be phenomenal content. Yeah. Mikey V resurrects the ticket into the thicket. An absolute problem child.
I'll tell you what, Mikey, you might not want me because I fully intend to take HGH and any performance-enhancing drugs that I can get my hands on. I'm telling people, I'm not just getting in shape. I'm not just coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for the whole
You want it all.
thing.
Yeah,
I want it all, baby.
Yeah,
I want to be ridiculously
Yeah.
shredded, like
Yeah.
absurdly, like too much. So, if you don't want to work with dirty athletes, then I totally understand. But if you'll have me, I'll need a
Happy to be
safe
there.
place for those.
There's always a place in my stable for you, Ticket.
Okay.
Wow.
That's perfect. All right, gentlemen. This was a fun one. This was a long one, but I think we owed it to the people. We haven't been as consistent as we'd like to be, but trust me, it's not for a lack of effort of trying. The three of us have really been working hard and talking a lot just to find time to do it. And hopefully in the next month or so, we've all got a little bit of downtime. Certainly Joe and I do, and we can get back on track here, guys. That's a good one, guys. That's another episode of The Sportsman. We've got Joey D up there. We've got Mikey V right there. And I'm the big ticket. I'm the big thicket. And we will see you folks next week.